Welcome back to another video. My name is Marlene. On this video I want to explain the difference between a dimension and a density, since we all heard let's move on to the fifth dimension. So we know from the 7 densities video that I made, or the evolution of consciousness, that Ra explains that we have 7 densities, and basically each density means a stage of evolution of awareness of consciousness. And a density can be seen as the stages of the water from solid to liquid to gas, and basically it's like the same element, but it has different depending on its vibration is how it's manifested into physical reality. So a solid will have a lower vibration, which is correlated to the lower densities, whereas the higher densities will be more like liquid and gas, so they have a higher vibration. Okay, and vibration will in a way translate to consciousness. So what Ra, he comes from the 6th density, right? So a higher group of beings that are sending us their insights here to the 3rd and 4th. And a dimension will basically be what we learn in school, right? About one dimension is just a little dot, and 2D will be a line, and 3D is the height, length, and the width, right? You can make what's it called, 4D 3D figures, so you can see it. It has a space, right? Whereas 4th dimension, which be time, okay, it has time. And fifth dimension, it's consciousness, where we don't really see it, we don't understand it, only our conscious does. Okay, but basically there is more dimensions. It's just that we don't understand, again, our mind doesn't understand. But basically it's the same concept as when you go dream, you're in a different dimension. You go to all these dimensions where different things happen, but you're still here in the 3 density with the physical body, but your consciousness projects to the 4th density, 5th or 6th, and depending on that, that's where your dreams will come from in a way. So or insights, channeling. So basically, well, not basically, to simplify it, is just that each density has its own lesson, right? So the 1st density is of the elements, right? So it will be air, fire, water, and earth, and their consciousness very low vibrational. They will have their own lessons, features, attributes. 2nd density is that of all those elements making a friction that creates a certain chemistry, and therefore gives a way to life, microbes and all of the animal kingdom, plants. And then the 3rd density is it's us humans, because we have the ego is the only density where we have that ego, we have a consciousness, we have that mental, or I explained on my other video, basically your ego can attack you and you become kind of your worst enemy, or not even for yourself but for others. And here is the only density where you have that choice, right? If you're gonna do the path of the light or the path of the dark. And the dark basically is of self-service, versus the path of light, it's the self-service to others, right? When you're helping out others, giving out to others, loving the others. And the 4th density, which is after 2012, our planet moved to this density, so we're slowly gonna be disintegrating. I'm just playing, but that fourth density, the lesson there will be of love. So it's of like being loving others, of unity, being one with others. It's all this about like loving others and all this like good things that come from the heart. And the fifth density is that of the hermit, right? Where you contemplate a lot, where you reflect a lot, when you have this wisdom, this knowledge. And the sixth density is where you're trying to balance that love and light to be of like you're a being of the light, but you're like very wise, right? It's like you just don't love, you have all this wisdom that can also serve. So yeah, it's like a video game where each world has its own like levels. So in a world of, let's say, a desert, it has 17 levels that you have to go through in order to go to the next world. So those levels will be the dimensions, right, that you can go and those dimensions have more dimensions and things like that. And even while you're here on the 3 density, you can channel from your higher selves that information, so that's why we're considered like your conscious can travel between time and space, right? So because it's not like solid, it can move. So your consciousness can be from a 5th density or 6th density, and you're still here, right? We're still human, but your consciousness can be from a higher realms. That will be something density. I mean, that's something like Abraham Hicks, right? Where she channels Abraham, this group of consciousness that's from the 6th density, same as with Ra. Like Ra is a group collective consciousness that comes from the 6th density. And on my other videos I explain about like the negative entities, those that choose like the path of darkness, and how they are able to I guess get into the 5th density. But the thing with them is like you can't really jump from one density to the other. It's like, yeah, you can come from a higher density down to a lower one, because like it wouldn't hurt you, as when a soul that's polarized negative is trying to reach the 5th density. The way they experience the 4th density is the other extreme, right? So if we have selflessness, you would have a narcissism, like selfishness, right? The way they experience love is the other way. So very narcissistic, the only taking from others, even like to the point of taking like their free will, because they just want to serve to themselves. So they do learn some lessons from this density, but when they start getting into like the 5th, because their body and the 4th density is of light, when they start to go into the 5th density, it's like they can't really hold that density, because the vibration from this density is too high and theirs is like slower, so they can only like tap into it and not really get there, because it's kind of like they gain that wisdom a little bit, but without that love. So that's why on this density where you have to balance light and love, since they don't have love, it's like you can't even, I can't open my door to you, I'm sorry, like you do not have the qualifications to be there. But it's very narrow, I guess, bandwidth of entities that are able to go into the fifth and sixth, or not even sixth, like the fifth density, because it's like you have to be very, very like negative, I guess. So yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys understood a little bit more, and yeah, know the difference about like a density and a dimension. So I'll see you in the next video.